Hello all and welcome to LawWon Gaming. Today is another episode of Stellaris Combat Theory where we test for the best to see which ships and strategies will reign supreme. So come with me and we'll see today which Corvette is the best. Roll the intro. Hello all, LawWon Gaming here to remind you of my 30 days of giveaway. That's right, for 30 days I'm giving out Steam gift cards. To qualify for a chance to get one, all you gotta do is like, comment, and subscribe. For more details, check out my announcement video in the description below. And without further ado, on with the show. As always, we begin with our testing parameters. To see which Corvette model is best, I will pit 10 Corvettes against this beefy boy battleship that is specifically designed to be a rather average model defensively, i.e. standard shield and armor, and offensively designed to chew through lightly armored targets like Corvettes. I'll test each Corvette with a set of specific weapons at the highest tier, except for crisis level weapons, of course. The winner will be whichever design can kill the battleship with the fewest losses. Based on the target being heavily armored and shielded, the best design is going to be one which can effectively handle both shields and armor, or ignore them, as well as deal significant damage. Because of this, lasers and plasma casters are likely to fail against the shield and do no damage. Autocannons will probably clear the shields, but fail against the armor. Similarly, cannons will likely fail against the armor as well. Missiles might be effective given their high alpha damage and their bonus damage to shields, as well as ignoring some armor, but will probably still be ineffective. Neutron torpedoes will likely be ineffective in taking out shields because the slow rate of fire means they'll keep hitting the shields over and over again as it recharges. This leaves me with torpedoes as my only real hope, because they completely ignore shields and ignore half the target's armor, as well as have high damage. Based on these parameters, the testing predictions proved to be somewhat accurate, with the exception of Neutron torpedoes, which were effective. As such, only the torpedo models managed to be effective against the battleship target. However, the missile model did put up a decent fight before it was eventually destroyed. As such, against the beefy targets like battleships, you're going to want Corvettes with torpedoes or missiles. However, let's change the rig of our battleship to include some anti-air and change the scale of battle to 80 versus 100 to simulate large-scale battles. In this scenario, the anti-air model battleship came out on top. This indicates two things to me. 1. Corvettes require greater numbers, perhaps a 10-to-1 or higher ratio to be effective. And 2. Anti-air measures limit the effectiveness of the torpedo model. To examine this, I did a few small-scale 10-to-1 fights, and the anti-air model lost to the torpedo Corvettes. So, having more Corvettes is likely more important than whether the enemy has anti-air measures. Then, to test this further, I tested the second best performing model, the Neutron torpedo model, in an 80 versus 10 scenario. In this situation, the anti-air battleships tend to win rather easily. So, this supports the idea that the number of Corvettes is more significant than the armament of the battleship target. Finally, I did some additional tests with the torpedo model against the other models to see if the torpedoes truly did reign supreme. For this, I did an 80 versus 80 test and let the Corvettes duke it out. Long story short, the torpedoes put up a good fight, but ended up losing rather consistently to everything except plasma casters. And in this scenario, the cannons and autocannons performed the best. So what did we learn from all of this? In the late game against AI, your best performing Corvette is likely to be the torpedo model with either an autocannon or Gauss cannon attached. This model will provide the heavy damage needed to take out capital ships, as well as provide decent damage against smaller targets. The benefits: 1. This model can be built from any spaceport you own. It does not require upgrading your spaceport, and if your spaceports get destroyed, you can easily replace them. 2. This model provides high evasion, which counters large and spinal weapons, which the AI and fallen empires will likely use more often. 3. You can focus your engineering research on topics other than ship size increases, possibly giving you a weapons edge, especially with torpedoes. 4. This model has fast maneuvering and combat speed, giving you a better chance to catch or run away from fights or do some raiding in enemy territory. Weaknesses: 1. You will lose without overwhelming numbers. That's just how Corvette fights go. 2. You may need to rebuild a lot of your fleet after each fight, so be prepared to keep clicking those buttons. 3. You can be countered by Corvettes with cannons or autocannons. 4. You can be countered by anti-air measures such as point defense, flak, or fighters. Note, you probably won't be countered completely, but it will do a lot to slow you down. 5. This model requires more minerals and force limit to maintain effective numbers. As I stated before, in an 8-to-1 scenario, the Corvettes lose. Well, where Corvettes take up only 1 force limit, battleships take up 8. As such, pound for pound, Corvettes will not give you the biggest bang for your buck. As such, the strongest Corvette model as of patch 1.9.1 is likely this model. Not without weaknesses, but this model will provide highly effective against AI opponents in the mid and late game. So with that, I believe we're done for now. But before I go, let me drop a quick reminder about my giveaway spree. All you gotta do to qualify for a Steam gift card is like, comment, and subscribe, and you could have a chance to win it big. And let me ask you, the viewer, if you think there's a better model for me to test, or if you think my analysis went wrong somewhere, then comment below and tell me about it, and help me build a better ship. So, with that, I'll see you next time, Space Cowboys.